equivalent, equivalent, equivalent. So, you want to learn about the word equivalent? Well, first, it's a noun, which means we can use it as the subject of a sentence. In common usage, equivalent refers to something that is equal in value, amount, or quality to something else. For example, if someone asks how many cookies you got for trading one with your friend, and you say, I got 2 cookies that are equivalent in size to the cookie I gave away, it means the 2 cookies have the same amount of goodness inside. You can also use equivalent to describe things like prices, salaries, or even scores on a test. Just think about how many points on a test would be considered equivalent to an A grade. One special note is that when you're using equivalent, you might want to make sure it's clear what thing or value you're comparing to, so people don't get confused. For instance, saying the new phone is equivalent in price to the old one implies there was a specific price point on the old one. In a formal usage, you might say, the university's new curriculum is equivalent to the previous one in terms of credits earned. This sentence demonstrates the word equivalent in an academic setting where precise language is necessary. Moving on to a casual conversation usage. Someone might say, I'm so sick of cooking dinner. That frozen pizza from last week is equivalent to my current energy levels. I mean, it's basically the same thing. Here, the sentence uses equivalent to compare something abstract, energy levels, with a more concrete object, the pizza. Finally, in a business or academic usage, you might say, the 2 rival companies' marketing strategies are not equivalent, as one has already seen significant returns on investment while the other is still testing its approach. In this example, equivalent is used to highlight the disparity between 2 distinct concepts. Marketing strategies. So you're trying to understand what something means when we say that 2 things are equivalent. Well, essentially, equivalent refers to 2 or more things being just as good, useful, or effective as each other. They have the same value, quality, or strength in a particular context. For example, if I have a dollar bill and an exact amount of money saved up in my bank account, they're equivalent because I can use either one to buy something worth that amount. Main characteristics of equivalent things are that they have the same level of importance, relevance, or impact. In many cases, people also think of synonyms like alike, similar, or corresponding when trying to describe equivalent things. It's used in all sorts of situations, from math and science to business and everyday life, where you need to compare the value, quality, or effectiveness of different options. Evolve, evolve, evolve. So, you know how sometimes we learn new things and get better at them. Like when you're learning a new language, and after some practice, you can suddenly understand phrases that were tricky before? That's basically what evolve means, to change and become more complex or develop over time. It's usually used in the context of biology, where it describes how animals adapt and transform into new species as they respond to their environment. But in everyday language, we also use it to talk about how ideas, societies, or even technology can develop and improve. For example, the company has evolved from a small startup to a global brand. Here, the idea is that the company was simple at first but grew more complex and sophisticated as time went on. And remember, evolve always implies that there's some kind of growth or improvement happening over time. Here are 3 practical example sentences using the word evolve with their respective contexts. The company's new marketing strategy is expected to evolve over time as it gathers more data and adapts to changing consumer behavior. In this context, the formal usage of evolve implies a gradual process of transformation from an initial state to a more refined or sophisticated one, often driven by experience and experimentation. For instance, a professor might use this phrase in a lecture on business strategy, saying, "As our market research evolves, we'll be able to refine our approach to better meet the needs of our customers." This would demonstrate how a concept is being gradually developed and improved through continuous learning. In contrast, in a casual conversation between 2 friends, someone might say, "I've been trying to evolve as a person since my last breakup. I'm taking cooking classes and joining a gym to get healthier." Here, the usage of evolve connotes personal growth and self-improvement, implying a willingness to change one's habits or behaviors in response to new experiences or circumstances. This example illustrates how the word can be used in everyday conversation to describe an individual's journey towards becoming a better version of themselves. Lastly, in a business setting, a manager might say, "Our team needs to evolve its product development process to stay competitive. We should consider incorporating more user feedback and testing." In this context, the usage of evolve implies a need for innovation and adaptation within an established system or framework. This example highlights how the word can be used in professional contexts to describe the importance of continuous improvement and staying ahead of industry trends. So, you're trying to get a sense of what evolve means. Think of it like this. When something, an idea, a technology, even a species, is constantly changing and improving over time, that's kind of like evolving. It's about becoming more complex, more sophisticated, or just generally better suited for the world around it. Imagine your favorite smartphone, which gets new software updates and hardware upgrades every few years, making it faster, stronger, and more useful. That's basically what we mean by evolving. It's related to ideas like growth, development, and progress, and is often used in science, technology, and even personal improvement contexts. Expand. 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 Let's talk about the verb expand. So, when we say that something expands, it means it gets bigger or wider in size or scope, often by growing outward from the center. As a part of speech, expand is a transitive and intransitive verb, which means it can be used with an object, e.g., to expand a building, or without one, e.g., the economy will expand. In common usage, you'll hear expand used in contexts like business, education, or even personal growth. For example, a company might expand into new markets, or someone might take online courses to expand their knowledge. One thing to note is that when we talk about expanding something like a concept or an idea, the connotation can be positive, implying growth and progress. But if we're talking about expanding physical space or objects, it can sometimes have a negative connotation of overgrowth or waste, so context is key. The company plans to expand its operations to new markets in Asia next quarter, which is expected to significantly boost sales revenue. In this formal usage, expand means to increase or widen something, such as business activities, services, or operations, often with the goal of reaching a larger audience or achieving greater success. On the other hand, Sarah mentioned that she's planning to expand her small apartment by converting the garage into an extra room, which will give her more space for storage and hobbies. In this casual conversation usage, expand means to increase the size, scope, or capacity of something, often referring to a physical location or a project. Researchers at the university are currently working on a new study that aims to expand our understanding of climate change by analyzing satellite data from the past 20 years, which will provide valuable insights for policymakers and environmentalists. In this business or academic usage, expand means to broaden or deepen knowledge, awareness, or comprehension of a particular subject or concept, often involving scientific research or theoretical analysis. So you want to learn about expand. Well, when we talk about making something bigger or more extensive, that's what expand is all about. The main characteristics of this concept are growing in size, scope, or reach. It's like taking a small balloon and blowing it up until it gets bigger and bigger. That's essentially what happens when we use the word expand. Similar concepts to think about might be grow, increase, or enlarge, which all mean adding more of something to make it bigger or more significant. As for how it's used, you can imagine expanding a company by hiring more employees, expanding your vocabulary in a foreign language, or even expanding the space in your home by renovating a room. It's all about making something bigger and more impressive.